What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my review for the India cinema action film Garudan. So Garudan is a film that I apologize in advance in case I mispronounce any of these names. I'm an American viewer. I do apologize about that in advance. But for those of you that don't know the premise of this film, it's simple. There's a man named Sokkan who has to choose between two childhood friends by the names of Aadhi and Karuna, and he has to choose between them in terms of loyalty and self-respect. The question is, which will he choose in terms of these two individuals? So this is a film that I went into blind. I didn't even know that premise, and I was originally not supposed to see this film. So a little bit of backstory by what I mean with that. So this is a film that I saw that it was playing in theaters, and going into it, all I knew was that there was some censorship meddling, and I'll get into that in a minute, but that's all I knew about the film, and I was trying to choose between this film and a film called Gangs of Gadaveri. Reading the two premises, I was like, you know what, I'm going to check out Gangs of Gadaveri. But when I got to the theater, it turned out that that particular screening wasn't playing. And the reason being was that they canceled it. And they canceled it because the theater was having issues. So thankfully, the film Garudan was actually playing ironically at the same time. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to see that film instead. And I'm glad that I did, because overall, I thought this was a solid film. I was consistently entertained by it, and I think that if you are a fan of action films, you are in for a treat. This is a film that, from an action perspective, it is really, really engaging. The sound mixing, like anytime there is a punch, anytime that someone uses an object to hit someone, it feels like you as the viewer are getting hit. And honestly, I saw this in a normal theater. I didn't see it in like a Dolby or IMAX theater, and I can only imagine watching this film in those two kind of formats. It would probably be literally losing your hearing, because for myself, 5 minutes in this film, I felt like I was losing hearing. I haven't felt like that since Tenet, and Tenet I saw in like Dolby. So the fact that this theater was mixed the way that it is, it's pretty incredible. And usually this theater, like, because again, I go to the movies a lot, this theater usually has it where the sound mixing is low. So it's clearly a directing and sound mixing choice to have it be this loud. So brace yourselves for that. It's a very, very loud film. But again, during the action scenes especially, it's immersive. I think the action scenes are well choreographed, and I also think that the score is really, really good. I was immersed by the visuals. I was immersed by the audio. Cinematography, again, it's very vibrant. This is a film that is trying to entertain you at each and every corner, and I really admire that. I think it's paced really well. It's edited cohesively in a way that, again, forward momentum is a huge, huge thing that I have to say about this film that works to an extent. Other thing is, I also really liked the acting. I thought the performances were all really good. I can tell that there's a lot of like big name actors in this film, but again, because I'm a stupid American, I don't really know these actors in particular. But there are certain moments where I'm like, okay, that's their action shot. Like, okay, he's probably a big star. So again, there were those moments that I had, but it was still something where I was like, I like these performances. I like what they're doing. I like these characters that they're playing. Here's the thing, though, about this film. I said it was solid. I said that I didn't love it because I do have some issues. The first issue I want to talk about isn't necessarily aimed at the film. It's more so aimed at just, it sounds terrible to say, but it just, the country as a whole in terms of India censorship. Like, this is a film that, again, going into it, all I knew was that there was some censorship meddling that occurred. How the director and writer tried to have certain words be said that are, swear words that he wanted to get past the board, so that way it was, be more realistic. And I admire that. Unfortunately, it didn't get passed. In fact, they have it where I'll put the wording here, some of the words that are said. They are censored in a way where one of the words looks like a money sign, like the first letter. It is very off-putting. I admire the fact that he attempted to do that, but it's really one of those things where it's like, I can't believe that they won't allow those words. But then at the same time, there's a certain swear words where it's like, that is allowed, but arguably that's more offensive than like other words. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where I as an outsider, I'm like, huh? The other thing is the violence in this film is like John Wick raid movies-esque. It is very, very violent. And I'm okay with that. I love the raid films. I love the John Wick films. But you have scenes where someone has like a spear go through their head and you see everything. You have a scene where someone's limb gets blown off. And yet you can't see the limb actually get picked up. The limb is literally blurred out. And it's very distracting. Like, it breaks some of the immersion. And that's something that, again, I don't fault the film because I understand that they're trying to get it through censorship. It's just like the Hays Code in America before it disbanded in like 1960. I get that. but it's still something that does stand out. And again, as an outsider, it's like I understand it's not the filmmaker's fault, but it's something I still wanted to bring up. Other thing is the film itself. I mentioned the characters, I mentioned the actors. My thing is, as much as I enjoyed the performances, I do think that this is a film that's very overcrowded with characters. And I mentioned how the pacing and editing I really liked, and those aspects I do, but up to a point. The reason why I said that is because this film is so fast moving that there are certain scenes that should be emotionally moving, but they aren't, because it's with characters that you didn't really have like a lot of time to get to know and care about. And there's certain characters that get sidelined, and then towards the end of the film, they come back and it's like, oh yeah, right, I almost forgot about you. And that includes the villain. The main villain of the film is someone that you don't really get to know much about. And so it's like one of those things where you see him in like the opening scene and it's like, oh wow, this seems like it's going to be a really effective villain. But then you don't really see him until towards the end. So it's like, he's not really an effective villain, because it's like you just literally only got to know him for one scene and it was very fast moving. So it's one of those things where it goes like this. If you want an action film that is constant forward momentum in terms of pacing and editing, and that it's very visceral in terms of the action, this is the film for you. If you want a film that is like really character driven and where you get to know these characters, it's not really necessarily the film for you, because there's too many characters. I think they should have maybe cut it in half, and I think it would have been much more effective, especially the emotional moments that they're going for towards the end. But still, this is a solid film. It is very well put together from a filmmaking standpoint. And again, those censorship, those things do unfortunately stink, but I get it. It comes with the industry that they're in that particular country. I get it. But I will say that I'm glad that I saw this film, and I would recommend it. When I reviewed this on Letterboxd, because yes, I'm filming this on a Saturday, I reviewed it on Letterboxd on Thursday, there wasn't really anybody that went to see this film, or at least it seemed like on opening day. And I hope that people do check it out, because it is very well put together. I'm sure that some people will probably catch this on Netflix when it comes out down the line, but if you get a chance to see this in theaters, I would recommend to actually go out, see this film, support it. It's rock solid. And that's why, for me, Garudan, I'll personally be giving a... Yeah, guys, that is my review for Garudan. And again, I apologize if I mispronounced any of these names, again, in advance. But if you've seen the film, let me know. Did you like it? Did you not? Did you feel kind of mixed about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also, I don't know if I'll be seeing it in theaters, but let me know, gangs, on Let me know if it was good or not. I'm thinking about possibly seeing it, but haven't decided yet if I want to, still go out and see it. But either way, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't done so already, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down on Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.